Have you ever wondered if a single invention could help transform an entire industry? In Burkina Faso, that question is beginning to take shape through a compact weaving machine called Findi, designed by local inventor Yimputano. This machine is more than a new piece of equipment. For many people, it represents the belief that African innovation can solve African challenges using local knowledge, local talent, and practical technology. For generations, traditional weaving has been an important part of Burkina Faso's culture and economy. Skilled artisans have preserved techniques passed down through their families, creating beautiful fabrics that reflect the nation's identity. However, the process is slow and physically demanding. A traditional weaver may spend an entire day producing only one piece of cloth. While imported industrial machines can increase production, their high cost makes them inaccessible for many small workshops and independent artisans. Faced with this challenge, Yimputano asked a simple question: could a machine be built specifically for the needs of local weavers instead of replacing traditional craftsmanship? His goal was to strengthen it. The result was Findi, a semi-industrial weaving machine designed to be compact, easy to maintain, and capable of operating with conventional electricity or solar power. According to its inventor, the machine can produce more than 10 pieces of fabric in a single day, offering a significant increase in productivity compared with traditional methods. But this story is about more than one invention. Findi has emerged at a time when Burkina Faso is encouraging local innovation and expanding domestic manufacturing. Many people now see the project as an example of how practical technology can create jobs, support small businesses, and add more value to products made inside the country. In today's video, we will explore the story behind Findi, examine what makes this invention unique, analyze its opportunities and challenges, and discuss why many consider it a symbol of Burkina Faso's growing ambition to build its future through local creativity and industrial development. Before we begin, please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy stories about African innovation and the remarkable people shaping the future of the continent. Every meaningful innovation begins with someone who refuses to accept an old problem as permanent. For Yimputano, that problem was easy to see. Across Burkina Faso, thousands of skilled weavers spend long hours producing beautiful traditional fabrics by hand. Their craftsmanship is admired throughout the country, yet the process remains slow, physically demanding, and difficult to expand into a sustainable business. While a highly experienced artisan may produce only one piece of cloth in an entire day, market demand continues to grow. Many customers want quality products, but local producers often struggle to supply enough while keeping prices competitive. Imported industrial weaving machines can solve part of the productivity problem, but for many small workshops, their cost is simply beyond reach. Instead of accepting this situation, Yimputano believed there had to be another solution. His goal was never to replace the traditions that define Burkina Faso's textile heritage. Instead, he wanted to build a machine that would preserve traditional weaving while making it faster, easier, and more profitable for ordinary people. That vision eventually became Findi, a name that means to develop or to grow in the Gourmand language. The name reflects not only the machine itself, but also the inventor's hope that local industries, families, and communities could grow together through innovation. Unlike many imported industrial systems designed for large factories, Findi was created with local conditions in mind. It uses components that can be assembled and repaired more easily, occupies very little space, and can be adapted for different weaving patterns according to its inventor. The machine is capable of producing more than 10 pieces of fabric in a single day, while remaining simple enough for small workshops to operate. More importantly, Yimputano envisioned Findi as a tool that could create opportunities for young people, support women working in the textile sector, and encourage more entrepreneurs to invest in local manufacturing. His invention demonstrates that solving national challenges does not always require billion-dollar factories. Sometimes meaningful change begins with one practical idea, designed specifically for the people who need it most. Findi was designed with one clear objective: to give traditional weavers access to modern technology without forcing them to abandon the skills that define their craft. Unlike massive industrial weaving systems that require large factories and significant investment, Findi follows a very different philosophy. It is a semi-industrial weaving machine built to fit the realities of small workshops in Burkina Faso. According to its inventor, the machine is assembled using locally available components, making repairs and maintenance more practical than relying on imported equipment. This approach also reduces dependence on specialized foreign parts, an important advantage for communities where replacement components may be difficult or expensive to obtain. One of Findi's most impressive features is its productivity. While a traditional hand weaver may complete only one cloth in a full working day, the inventor states that Findi can produce more than 10 pieces of fabric during the same period. Such an increase has the potential to transform the economics of small weaving businesses. Higher production means artisans can accept larger orders, reduce delivery times, and improve their ability to compete with manufactured textiles entering the local market. The machine was also designed with flexibility in mind. By changing the weaving comb, operators can produce different styles of fabric and adapt the machine for various textile products. This allows workshops to respond more easily to customer demand instead of being limited to a single type of cloth. Another practical advantage is its compact size. Findi occupies very little space, making it suitable for family, workshops, or community cooperatives where every square meter matters. Perhaps the most innovative feature is its ability to operate using either conventional electricity or solar energy. In regions where electrical service may be unreliable, solar power offers an alternative that could allow production to continue without depending entirely on the national grid. Although the machine's long-term performance under different operating conditions will require continued evaluation, its design clearly reflects the everyday realities faced by local producers. Rather than copying expensive industrial systems, Findi demonstrates how appropriate technology can be adapted to local needs, combining simplicity, efficiency, and accessibility into a single, practical solution. Although Findi is an impressive engineering achievement, its significance extends far beyond the machine itself. It has appeared at a time when Burkina Faso is pursuing a broader vision of strengthening domestic manufacturing and creating more value from its own natural resources. For many years, the country has been one of Africa's important cotton producers. However, much of that cotton has traditionally been exported as raw material, leaving other countries to perform the higher value stages of spinning, weaving, and garment production. This long-standing pattern has limited the economic benefits that remain within Burkina Faso and reduced opportunities for local employment. Today, many policymakers, entrepreneurs, and researchers believe that increasing local processing is essential for sustainable economic growth. Instead of exporting raw cotton and importing finished textiles, Burkina Faso aims to develop more stages of the production chain at home. This strategy has encouraged investments in textile production, vocational training, and small-scale manufacturing. Within this context, Findi represents a practical example of how local innovation can contribute to national development goals. Rather than depending entirely on expensive imported machinery, Findi demonstrates that technology designed inside Burkina Faso can respond directly to the needs of local producers. Its compact size, simple, maintenance, and flexible operation make it particularly suitable for family workshops, women's cooperatives, and small community businesses. If adopted more widely, machines like Findi could help increase productivity while allowing traditional weaving skills to remain at the heart of the production process. The invention also highlights an important shift in thinking. Industrial development is no longer viewed only as the construction of large factories. It can also begin with practical innovations that solve everyday challenges faced by ordinary citizens. A single machine may not transform an entire industry overnight, but it can inspire new ideas, encourage local entrepreneurship, and demonstrate that technological progress does not always require imported solutions. For Burkina Faso, Findi represents more than higher production. It symbolizes confidence in local creativity and the belief that sustainable industrial growth can begin with innovations created by the very people who understand the country's challenges best. Whether this invention reaches its full potential will depend not only on its technical performance, but also on continued investment, training, and support for the innovators who dare to imagine a different future. The emergence of Findi also reflects a broader vision that has gained momentum in Burkina Faso under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traore. His administration has repeatedly emphasized that the country's future cannot depend solely on exporting raw materials while importing finished products at much higher prices. Instead, the government has encouraged greater domestic manufacturing, technological innovation, and the development of industries capable of creating jobs and retaining more economic value within the country. This philosophy aligns closely with the story of Findi. Rather than waiting for advanced technology to arrive from abroad, Imputano chose to develop a practical solution using local knowledge and components adapted to Burkina Faso's conditions. His invention demonstrates how individual creativity can complement national development strategies. While there is no public evidence that the government directly financed or commissioned Findi, the inventor himself explained that the project was inspired by calls to promote innovation and industrial self-reliance. The importance of this connection should not be overstated, but neither should it be ignored. A supportive policy environment can encourage inventors to transform ideas into practical solutions. Public exhibitions of local inventions, research forums, and initiatives promoting domestic production have helped create greater visibility for innovators across Burkina Faso. This atmosphere encourages young engineers, technicians, and entrepreneurs to believe that their ideas can contribute to national development rather than remaining personal experiments. However, turning a successful prototype into a product used throughout the country requires much more than inspiration. Findi will need continued technical testing, standardized manufacturing, reliable financing, and effective distribution before it can achieve widespread adoption. Training programs will also be essential so that operators, technicians, and maintenance specialists can support the machine over many years of service. Ultimately, the story of Findi illustrates an important lesson about industrial development. Governments may establish national priorities, but lasting economic transformation depends on citizens who are willing to innovate, solve real problems, and build practical solutions. When public policy and local creativity move in the same direction, even a small workshop invention has the potential to influence a much larger national conversation about technology, opportunity, and self-reliance. While Findi has generated excitement inside Burkina Faso, its future will ultimately depend on more than public enthusiasm. Every successful invention must overcome practical challenges before it can become part of everyday life. For Findi, the first opportunity lies in its ability to create new jobs. If the machine is produced on a larger scale, employment could expand beyond weaving itself. Technicians would be needed to assemble and maintain the machines. Local workshops could manufacture replacement parts. Training centers could prepare operators, while entrepreneurs could establish small weaving businesses capable of serving larger markets. In this way, one invention has the potential to support an entire network of economic activities. Women could also become some of the greatest beneficiaries. Across Burkina Faso, many women are actively involved in textile production through family businesses and community cooperatives, a machine that increases productivity without requiring a massive industrial facility could help these groups improve their income while preserving traditional weaving techniques. Instead of replacing skilled artisans, Findi could allow them to produce more efficiently and spend additional time developing new designs and expanding their businesses. However, significant obstacles remain. One of the biggest challenges is financing. Even a relatively affordable machine may still be beyond the financial reach of many independent weavers. Without access to credit, cooperative ownership models, or government and private sector support, widespread adoption may remain limited. Another challenge is technical validation. The machine's long-term durability, maintenance costs, and performance under continuous operation must be carefully tested before large-scale production can begin. Standardized manufacturing will also be essential. Every machine should meet consistent safety and quality standards while using components that can be easily repaired or replaced. At the same time, operators must receive proper training to ensure that the technology delivers its full potential. Finally, increased production alone will not guarantee success. Expanding markets, strengthening distribution networks, and protecting the value of traditional Burkina Faso textiles will be equally important. Findi has opened an exciting new chapter, but turning that promise into lasting economic progress will require careful planning, investment, and collaboration across many sectors of society. As discussions about Findi continue to spread, the invention has also become part of a broader conversation about Africa's path toward industrial development. While the machine itself has not been the target of direct criticism from Western governments or international organizations, the policies encouraging greater economic self-reliance in Burkina Faso have attracted both support and skepticism. Some international observers have questioned whether the country's industrial ambitions can be achieved quickly, pointing to challenges such as limited financial resources, infrastructure constraints, and the need for long-term investment. Others have argued that local manufacturing projects should demonstrate measurable economic results before being presented as symbols of national transformation. These concerns deserve careful consideration. Every major industrial initiative should be evaluated using clear evidence rather than political enthusiasm. Machines like Findi must prove their durability, productivity, maintenance costs, and overall value under real working conditions. Investors, development partners, and financial institutions naturally seek reliable data before supporting large-scale production. From this perspective, asking difficult questions is not necessarily opposition to innovation. It is part of ensuring that promising ideas develop into sustainable businesses. At the same time, it would be unfair to dismiss local inventions simply because they begin on a small scale. Nearly every successful manufacturing company in the world started with a prototype, a workshop, or a single inventor willing to experiment. Findi should therefore be judged by its practical performance rather than by assumptions about where advanced technology must originate. If the machine continues to improve through testing and receives appropriate technical support, it could become an example of how locally designed technology addresses local challenges more effectively than expensive imported alternatives. Perhaps the most important lesson extends beyond Burkina Faso itself. Countries across Africa share many similar challenges, including limited industrial capacity, dependence on imported equipment, and the need to create employment for rapidly growing populations. Findi reminds us that meaningful industrial development does not always begin with billion-dollar investments. Sometimes it starts with one inventor, one practical solution, and one community determined to build a better future using its own creativity, knowledge, and determination. The story of Findi offers valuable lessons that extend far beyond the borders of Burkina Faso. Across the African continent, many countries possess abundant natural resources, skilled workers, and rich cultural traditions. Yet they often face similar challenges, including dependence on imported machinery, limited industrial capacity, and the export of raw materials with little local processing. Findi demonstrates that meaningful progress does not always require waiting for large multinational companies or massive foreign investments. Sometimes innovation begins when local inventors design practical solutions specifically for the communities they understand best. One important lesson is that technology should match local realities. Instead of copying complex industrial systems designed for advanced economies, African innovators can create equipment that is affordable, easy to maintain, and adapted to local infrastructure. Findi reflects this philosophy through its compact design, its use of locally assembled components, and its ability to operate with either conventional electricity or solar power. These practical choices make the machine more accessible to small workshops and rural communities than many imported alternatives. Another lesson is that successful innovation requires more than creative ideas. Governments, universities, private businesses, financial institutions, and technical training centers all play important roles in helping inventions move from prototypes to commercial products. Without financing, standardized production, skilled technicians, and reliable distribution networks, even the most promising technology may never reach the people it was designed to serve. Findi highlights the importance of building an entire innovation ecosystem rather than celebrating individual inventors alone. Perhaps the greatest message is one of confidence. For generations, many African nations have relied heavily on imported technologies to support industrial development. Findi reminds us that local engineers, artisans, and entrepreneurs also possess the creativity needed to solve their own challenges. Every successful invention strengthens technical knowledge, inspires young innovators, and builds experience that can support future industries, whether in textiles, agriculture, renewable energy, or manufacturing. The long-term goal is not simply to produce one successful machine. It is to develop a culture where innovation becomes a normal part of economic growth. If more countries embrace that mindset, small inventions like Findi could become the foundation for a stronger and more self-reliant industrial future across Africa. Looking toward the future, the ultimate success of Findi will not be measured simply by how many machines are built. Its true impact will depend on whether it inspires a lasting culture of innovation across Burkina Faso and beyond. Every nation that has successfully industrialized has done so not because of one remarkable invention, but because it created an environment where inventors, entrepreneurs, educators, and manufacturers worked together to solve practical problems. Findi has the potential to become part of that larger journey if it continues to evolve through testing, investment, and collaboration. For Burkina Faso, the next step is to transform promising ideas into sustainable industries. That means providing technical training, encouraging partnerships between inventors and manufacturers, improving access to financing, and creating opportunities for young engineers to develop the next generation of locally designed technologies. Innovation should not end with one successful machine. It should become a continuous process that strengthens agriculture, manufacturing, renewable energy, transportation, and many other sectors of the economy. This vision also carries an important message for the rest of Africa. Countries across the continent possess enormous human talent, yet to many continue to rely on imported technologies for solving local challenges. Findi demonstrates that practical solutions can emerge from within African communities themselves, while every invention must be tested carefully and judged by measurable results. Local creativity deserves the opportunity to compete, improve, and succeed. Sustainable industrial development is built not only through investment, but also through confidence in domestic knowledge and technical ability. As this story continues to unfold, the world will be watching to see whether Findi becomes a widely adopted manufacturing tool or remains an inspiring prototype. Either outcome offers valuable lessons. One reminds us of the importance of perseverance and continuous improvement. The other demonstrates that even ambitious ideas require the right ecosystem to flourish. Stories like this are shaping conversations across Africa news about innovation, industrial growth, and the future of the African Union as Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and the wider Sahel region pursue greater economic self-reliance under leaders, including Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goïta, and Abdourahmane Chiani, while maintaining complex relationships with partners such as France. One question remains: can locally developed innovation become the foundation of a stronger and more prosperous West Africa? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this analysis, subscribe to the channel for more stories exploring Africa's remarkable transformation. The story of Findi reminds us that real transformation rarely begins with dramatic headlines or massive industrial projects. More often, it starts with a single individual who sees an everyday problem and refuses to believe that it cannot be solved. Yimputano's invention may still face important technical, financial, and commercial challenges, but it has already achieved something meaningful. It has demonstrated that innovation can emerge from local communities, respond to local needs, and inspire a broader conversation about the future of manufacturing in Burkina Faso. Whether Findi eventually becomes a widely adopted weaving machine or remains an important prototype, its greatest contribution may be changing the way people think about development. Instead of waiting for solutions from outside the continent, more engineers, entrepreneurs, and young innovators may begin asking how they can design technologies that fit the realities of their own countries. That change in mindset could become just as valuable as the machine itself. For Burkina Faso, the path forward will require patience, investment, technical testing, and collaboration between inventors, businesses, educators, and policymakers. Sustainable industrial growth cannot depend on a single invention or a single leader. It must be supported by strong institutions, skilled workers, access to financing, and a commitment to continuous improvement. If these elements come together, innovations like Findi could help strengthen local industries while preserving the country's rich cultural heritage. This story also carries an important message for the wider African continent. As discussions continue across Africa news and within the African Union, countries including Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger exploring new approaches to industrial development and economic self-reliance. Leaders such as Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goïta, and Abdourahmane Chiani have emphasized increasing domestic production while maintaining complex relationships with international partners, including France. The long-term success of these efforts will depend not on political slogans, but on practical results that improve people's daily lives. Perhaps the most important question is no longer whether Africa can innovate. The evidence increasingly suggests that it can. The real question is whether these innovations will receive the support needed to grow into sustainable industries, capable of creating jobs, strengthening local economies, and building a more resilient future for West Africa and the wider Sahel region. Thank you for watching. If you found this story insightful, please share your thoughts in the comments below. We would love to hear whether you believe locally developed technologies like Findi can help shape the future of African industry. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more in-depth stories exploring innovation, development, and the remarkable people working to transform Africa from within. We sincerely appreciate your time and support. Every video on this channel is carefully researched, thoughtfully written, and meticulously edited by our dedicated team. We don't rely on automated production or shortcuts to create our content. Every story, every visual, and every detail is crafted with genuine care, passion, and a commitment to bringing you meaningful, high-quality videos.